Hi everyone, my name is Mike Levine. I'm a personal trainer and yoga instructor here in Toronto with my company Mindful Method. I'm going to guide you through a 30-minute hip opening stretch today. So great if you've got some tight hips, you've been sitting a lot lately. So we'll get started. 30 minutes. We're going to start on all fours. I like to start by warming up the spine. So pressing both hands into the mat. Shoulders align over your wrists. We'll start by rounding your chin to chest. Exhaling, reversing from low spine, mid back, upper back, looking up to the ceiling. So cat-cow here, exhale to round. Great way to open up the spine, get some movement. Notice how it's feeling today. Focusing on the breathing here. Exhale to round, chin to chest. Reversing from that low spine, mid back, upper back, looking up. Exhale to round. Reversing from that low spine, mid back, upper back, looking up. Last two here. Exhale to round, chin to chest. Reversing, looking up to the ceiling or looking straight ahead. Release those shoulders down. Exhaling to round. Think about one vertebra at a time, moving on the back, looking to the belly, slowing it down here, looking all the way through and straight ahead. Coming back to a neutral spine here. We're gonna do hip circles on each side. So make sure we've got a solid foundation, pressing both hands into the ground. We're bending into that right knee. We're gonna circle one way on the left side. So nice big circles here, trying to keep a flat back. Breathing through it. Pretend like you've got a ball behind that knee. We're gonna go a couple times one way. Notice how that left hip is feeling for last 3. Keep pressing into those hands. For 2, slow it down. And 1, we'll pause there. Let's reverse the other way. So open it out, reach it back into the midline. So you're reversing that circle. You're keeping a flat back, a little bit of tension on the core. Nice deep breaths here. Opening up that left side, getting some movement into it. For 3, for 2, and 1. We'll try the other side. So again, pressing both hands into the ground, reach that heel back, opening up the right side this time, trying to keep your right hip down. Breathing into that right hip and notice how it feels versus the other side. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. We'll reverse it, other side. So open that hip out, knee out. Take your time here. Again, think about like you have a squash ball, small tennis ball behind your right knee. Open right out to the side, kick that heel back for last 3, for 2, and 1 more here, and 1. Good. Next one is a leaping dog. So we're reaching those hips back in a downward dog position. You can walk your feet out a little bit, feet and hands hip shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart. We're gonna reach hips back towards those heels and come forward into a high plank. Let's try this a couple times. Reach it back and forwards. Breathing here, warming up that core. For 5, for 4, 3, for last 2, and 1. Good. We're gonna come to seated. Feet together into a butterfly stretch. So try to bring feet together, sit up nice and tall here. And we're gonna slowly let those knees fall down to either sides, and maybe this is as far as you can go today. Think about opening those feet up like a book, breathing into it. Nice deep breaths here. holding here for 30 seconds. Maybe you press those elbows in towards the knees a little bit. Maybe you bring the forehead down as far as you can. Just kind of settle into this hip stretch. Release those hips here as far down as you can go. Last 10 seconds here. Good. Keep breathing into the belly for 5, 4, last 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring both knees together. We'll try that once more. I'm just gonna fix my camera here. So try that once more. Both feet come together. Okay, this is one I call the butterfly stretch. Pretend like you're opening those feet up like a book. And maybe you give yourself a little bit of pressure using those elbows. Slowly try to release those knees down to the mat, down to your floor. Maybe you bring the forehead down a little bit here. Nice deep breaths into it. We're holding here for 30 seconds. Try to release and relax those shoulders down. Open those feet up like a book. Good. For last 5, for 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Slowly bring both knees back together. We're gonna come into a seated twist next. So right foot comes out, reaches forward. Left foot over the right leg. We're bringing left hand to the base of the spine. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, reach that right arm up and across the body. So reach it across. Maybe you hook that elbow onto the knee, or maybe you hug that left knee in a little bit closer. So we're looking, sitting up nice and tall. We're twisting over to the left corner of the room. Nice deep breaths into it here, wringing out the spine and maybe hugging that left knee in towards the body. Breathing here. Again, we're gonna hold for 30 seconds, wringing that upper thoracic spine, so your upper back, and feeling in that left glute here. Last 10 seconds here. Nice deep breaths. Continue to focus on the breathing throughout the stretch today for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Let's slowly release. You can counter twist a little bit. We'll try the other side. So right foot over left. Right hand plants at the base of the spine. We're sitting up nice and tall. Reach that left arm up. You're going to bring it right across the body. And wringing out the spine on the other side. So your choice, maybe you hug that right knee in close, looking to the back right corner of the room, sitting up tall, wringing out the spine on the other side, and feel into that right glute this time. Nice deep breaths. We're holding here for 30 seconds. Good. Continue to breathe into the belly and wringing out that upper back here. Again, if you've been sitting a lot lately, this feels really good on those hips and the back. Good. For last 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release. If you have the time, I encourage you to repeat that one a couple times. Next one is a 90-90 stretch. So we're bringing left foot, left knee in a 90-degree position. Right knee is back on a 90-degree angle. We're gonna start by thinking about, I'm gonna face everyone. So left knee forward, right knee back. We're both at 90-degree angles, or as close as to a 90-degree angle as you can get. And then we're bringing both hands over that front knee. So let's think about pressing knee, ankle, and hip down on both legs here. So start by pressing both down. And maybe this is far enough for you to go today. Maybe you bring the chest down a little bit lower and breathe into it here. So again, you're pressing ankle, knee, and shin down. We're gonna hold every stretch here 30 seconds of breathing, and we're hinging over that front hip. We're not collapsing into it. So notice how it feels on that left hip Maybe it's a little bit tighter than the right. Good. For the last 15 seconds here, let's open up those hips. Continue to take nice deep breaths into it. For last 5, for 4, 3, for 2, and 1. Take your time, slowly come up. We'll switch sides. So right knee comes in front on a 90-degree angle. Left knee comes back. So take your time, let's set up here. So sitting up nice and tall. Okay, maybe this is enough for you here. Our option to bring both hands in front of that right knee. Let's slowly take your time bringing that chest down wherever you can, pressing ankle, knee, and hip down. Breathing into it here, hinging over that front right hip. Last 15 seconds. Good, nice deep breaths into this side for 5, 4, for 3, last 2, and 1. Slowly take your time coming up. We'll try that once more on each side. So left knee in front, right knee back. Okay, again, set up your position. Maybe it'll feel a little bit easier this time. So both are on a 90-degree angle. That's why this one's called a 90-90 stretch. So pressing that knee, ankle, and hip down. Let's bring both hands on either side of the front knee. So maybe this is enough for you here. Maybe you hinge a little bit more deeper into this left side. Breathing into it, dropping that chest down wherever you can today. Breathe into that left hip for 5, 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly take your time coming up. We'll try the other side. So right shin in front is on a parallel to pretend you've got the front of your mat. So setting up, that left leg is at a 90-degree angle. Our ankle, knee, and hip, we want to think about pressing down, so give yourself a little bit of pressure here into the ground. Maybe it's a little bit tighter, or maybe a little easier on the other side. And slowly start hinging over your right hip. Pressing those hands down on either side of the right knee. You're bringing your chest down wherever you can today. Nice deep breaths into this side. We're holding here for 15 more seconds. Coming down wherever you can. Enjoy this stretch. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders here. Last 5 deep breaths for 4, 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly take your time coming up. We'll shake it off here. We'll do some windshield wipers, okay, with the knees. So rocking it out a little bit side to side here. Try to bring, so you're staggering your knees. Try to bring the knees down, that inside knee, as far down as you can to open up the hips. Breathing into it, keeping your chest up. Let's try this a couple more times. Great way to just kind of get into those hips. Get some mobility going here. Just pivoting side to side, go wherever you can. Continue to breathe here for last 3, for 2, sitting up nice and tall, and 1. Good, we'll come on to our hands. We're gonna come into a pigeon next. So pressing up into a downward dog, I'm gonna add in a little bit of yoga here. Right leg reaches high in the air, so we're gonna bend into the right knee. We'll do a couple circles into your right knee here. So into that right hip, opening up that hip. Maybe you circle the other way if that feels really good. And when you're ready, we're gonna bring right knee to the right wrist and slowly bring that right shin parallel to the front of your mat. Maybe it doesn't come parallel, wherever you can. And maybe this is enough for you right here. So reaching that left leg back, We'll sit up nice and tall. We're not collapsing into the right hip here. And if it feels good, slowly bring those hands down wherever you can. Maybe you come onto the forearms, maybe you stack your fists and give yourself a little bit of pressure here. You can stack the fists for your forehead, trying to bring both hips down to the mat. So again, not collapsing into that right side, breathing into your right side and bringing that left hip down at the same time. For the last 15 seconds here, breathing into both hips. This is your pigeon. We've got last 10 seconds. For last 5. For 4, keep breathing into it. For 3. Last 2. And 1. If you were down on your hands, slowly coming up. We're gonna press ourselves back into that downward dog position here. Reach those hips up. You can walk the feet out a little bit. Notice how the hips are feeling. Press those hands down into the floor, into your mat. Hands are shoulder width apart, feet hip width. We'll try that on the other side. Left leg reaches high in the air. We're bending into our left knee, and let's circle into the left hip. Notice how this left hip is feeling versus the right side. You can option to circle the other way. And when you're ready, let's bring the left knee to the left wrist. Right leg reaches back, so sitting up nice and tall here. Let's set up our position. So trying to bring that left shin as parallel as you can to the front of your mat. Maybe it doesn't get there today, which is fine. Right leg reaches back, and maybe this is enough for you right here. Let's think about bringing both hips to the front of the mat. And if it feels good, let's slowly walk our hands down. You can come down onto the forearms, maybe bring your forehead all the way down to the mat. I like to stack the fists and make a pillow for my forehead. Breathing into that left hip, reaching that right leg back. Again, we're not collapsing into our left hip. Equal pressure on both here, on both hips. We're holding here for the last 15 seconds. Enjoy this stretch. This is a great hip opener. Breathing into it for the last 5 deep breaths. For 4, last 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly take your time coming out of this one. If this one feels good, I encourage you to try it a couple more times. If you have the time for it, we're gonna press ourselves up. I always like to come back to a downward dog to walk those hips out. Notice how they're feeling today. Breathing, couple deep breaths here, pedal out those feet. And we're gonna try a low lunge next. So inhale, reach that right leg high. We're stepping our right foot through the hands. Left knee comes down. So this is your low lunge here. Your choice, you can have hands on the hips. Again, both hips are facing forward, so we're opening up our hip flexor and this little psoas muscle. So glutes are engaged. Maybe you option to bring those arms up overhead. You can bring them down into cactus arms here, so elbows down by the sides. Squeeze that upper back here. Again, we're gonna hold for 15 seconds. Breathing into that left hip. Lifting that chest up here. Nice deep breaths for the last 5. For 4, 3, for 2, and 1. We're gonna press our left hand down into the mat, reach that right arm up, so a little bit of a stretch in that right hamstring here. Your choice, you can look straight ahead or look up to your right hand. Breathing into those hips, legs, upper back for last 3, for 2, and 1. Bring your right hand down. We're gonna bring both hands on the inside of that right foot. This next one is called a lizard. And your choice, maybe this is enough for you right here. You can circle into that right knee, right hip a little bit, a couple times. Maybe you bring your left knee off the ground for a little bit deeper of a stretch into that right hip. So we're circling a couple times each way. This feels really good, going a little bit deeper onto that right side. For last 5, for 4, keep opening up that right side for 3, for 2, and 1. We'll bring the left knee down. Let's step our right foot back. Come back to our downward dog here. We'll walk out our dog. So walk those feet out. Keep pressing those hands into the ground. We're gonna set up for low lunge other side. So inhale, lift and lengthen that left leg high in the air. Left foot comes through the hands, take your time. Right knee comes down. So setting up for that low lunge. Inhale, you can reach those arms right up overhead. Again, you're pressing that right hip forward, so it's not passive. We are a little bit active here. Your glutes are engaged, both hips are facing forwards. Taking nice deep breaths here. Your choice, maybe bring elbows down by the sides, squeeze that upper back a little bit. Again, great if you've been sitting all week, last few months. Breathing into it here for last 5. Opening up those hips and the hip flexor on the right side for 4, 3. Keep looking straight ahead or up for 2, and 1. We're bringing right hand down into the mat. Reach that left arm up to the ceiling. Your choice here, you can look straight ahead if it feels okay on the neck. Maybe look up for a little bit deeper of a stretch. You can let that left knee fall out to the side. Breathe into it here for 5. Keep pressing that right hand down for 4, 3, for 2, and 1. We're bringing left hand on the inside of your left foot. So heel toe that left foot out to the side corner edge of your mat. And if this is enough for you right here, this is great for your lizard coming into it next. Or maybe you bring right knee off the ground here, a little bit deeper stretch on that left hip, left hamstring. Your choice, you can circle into it a couple times each side. Nice deep breaths here. Breathing into it, circling and opening up that left hip for 5, for 4, last 3, for 2, and 1. We'll bring right knee down. Let's step our left foot back, come into our downward dog here. Walk it out. Shake it off a little bit here. Reach those hips up. We'll bring both knees down to your mat. Great. Forward fold. Bring forehead down to the ground. This is your child's pose. Sitting those hips back towards your heels. Let's try breathing into that low back here. Reach those arms forward. Nice deep breaths into it for 3. For 2, you can spread those knees a little bit wider if that feels better. Wide leg child's pose. And 1, we're gonna walk both hands all the way over to the left side. Right hand comes on top of your left hand for a little bit deeper of a stretch on that right side. Again, try to bring forehead down as low as you can, wherever you can, for 3, for 2, and 1. Walk both hands over towards the right side. Reach over as far as you can. We'll bring left hand on top of your right if that feels good. So going a little bit deeper into that the left side. Again, trying to bring that forehead down. Breathing into that low back here for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly bring both hands back to center. Walk yourself all the way up. We're gonna come to seated and come down onto our back. So we're gonna give ourselves a big hug. So hug both knees in here. This feels really good on the back. Rock it out a couple times side to side. Massage that whole back here. Nice and easy. We're gonna bring a left leg over the right leg and hold on to the ankles with opposite hands. So left hand holds on to the right ankle, right hand onto left, and we're gonna slowly bring those knees in towards the chest. You'll feel this into those glutes on the left side. Again, think about keeping your head down on the mat, shoulders down, your chin's tucked here. Let's breathe into this left side for 5, 4, for last 3, for 2, and 1. Let's slowly release. We're gonna let the knees fall over towards the left side. So this is a sleeping spinal twist. Knees fall, keeping those legs crossed. Your arms can come out into cactus arms. If you have enough space, reach them out into a T. And your choice, your head can look straight up to the ceiling. Maybe turn it to look over towards your right hand. So using that top ankle to pull that right knee down, so wringing out the spine and those hips here. Enjoying this stretch. Continue to come back to your breathing. Nice deep belly rest here for 5, for 4, wringing out that spine for 3, last 2, and 1. Slowly bring the knees back to center. We'll hug both knees into the chest here. Give yourself a nice rock it out side to side, maybe circling into those hips. And we're gonna try that other side. So right leg crosses over the left. Your hands are gonna reach down for the ankles. Maybe this is enough for you right here, or your choice, you can pull those knees in towards the body, pulling those ankles down towards the floor, towards your mat. Again, your head stays on the ground, chin stays tucked. Let's breathe into it here for 5, 4, for 3, last 2, and 1. Slowly release, and I'm gonna shimmy my hips over towards the left to make sure I've got enough space. We're letting the knees fall over to the right side. Your arms can reach out into a T or cactus arms, depending on how much space you have. You can bring your head to look over towards your left hand. So using that top ankle to pull that left knee down. You're wringing out the spine here, releasing those shoulders down on your back. Nice deep breaths into it for 5. Good for 4. Wringing out that spine for last 3. For 2, release those shoulders down. And 1. Nice work, everyone. Slowly bring those knees back to center. Hug both knees in towards the chest. You can rock it out here. Give yourself a big hug. We're nearly there. We're gonna come into a happy baby. So reach those arms through the insides of your shins. Holding onto the outside edges of those feet. And rock it out side to side. Think about pressing that low back down into your mat. Knees are coming closer towards the shoulders here. Maybe this is enough for you right here. Keep bringing those knees down. And we're gonna finish off today with a half happy baby. So reaching left leg in front of you. I'm gonna make sure I have enough room. Hold it onto the right side. Maybe you hold on your shin or ankle if it's not available. You can press left hand down in onto your left hip so it doesn't come up. And going a little bit deeper into that right hip here, as much as you can handle. Again, continuing to breathe. For a little bit more of a stretch, you can also kick your heel, right heel up towards the ceiling. Let's take 5 deep breaths into it for 4, for 3, last 2, and 1. Slowly release that right side. You can shake it off a little bit. We'll bring the left foot, left knee in towards the body, reaching that left arm through. We're holding on to the outside edge of that left foot. Let's try pressing that right hip down, so right leg is long here. Again, your head stays on the mat, chin stays tucked, shoulders are down. Going a little bit deeper into that left side. My left hip is a little bit tighter than the right. For a little bit more of a stretch, you can get into your hamstring as well by kicking that heel up towards the ceiling. This is your half happy baby. Last 5 deep breaths here for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly release that left leg down. We'll give ourselves one last big hug. Let's rock it out here side to side. You can bring the head off the ground. Give yourself a big hug, massage it out, and slowly roll over to one side. Take your time. We'll press ourselves up. And that's all we have for today. Thank you everyone for joining me. If you like this, you can follow me or link to my website, mindfulmethodcoach.com.